Alright, so we're back. Let me know if I don't have a weird double echo voice and you can see this video game on the screen. Alright. This is clearly an attempt at Star Wars style poster art using game assets and so forth. Thumbs up. Cool. Alright. Hi everybody. On relatively short notice I decided that I wanted to revisit Dark Forces, the 1995, yeah, I think it was early 95, LucasArts FPS that came out back in Doom's heyday. So it was a Doom killer. What I'm playing it with here is DarkXL, which is a like modern re-implementation of it. It's actually kind of old. The guy who's making this is making like a generalized like kind of 90s engine that supports both Dark Forces as well as Daggerfall. It's interesting, xlengine.com, but this is DarkXL is the last playable version of it that was released before his big rewrite. So yeah, that's what we'll be using to play Dark Forces. And yeah, it works. It doesn't, like, there are definitely things about this that don't work. I'm not going to bother with like the intro cutscenes and stuff, partly because they don't fully work in this, I think. And also, like, you know, imagine that there's a text crawl talking about Dark Forces. That's what's going on here. Yeah, so I thought I would play the second mission just because it's like early. Yeah. And it's just a good, like, sort of... Oh, yeah. It's just not in a movie. It's a greater concern. Like, it's as big a deal as the Death Star. It's just, nah, never mind. These cutscenes are stretched. Alright, I'm going to skip the cutscene, because, I don't know. Something bad happens. Yeah, like, I mean, what I do like about this game, and what I liked about it back in the day, is that these missions end up having a lot more of a narrative framing than Doom, obviously, which just had, you know, almost nothing in the way of narrative framing. It reminds me more than anything of Thief, you know, which was a mission-based game. You would end a mission and then see a little cutscene that moved the story along, and then go into another mission. And a lot of these missions are based on, yeah, they're both infiltrate and exfiltrate. So, like, you start off in a spot, and then you go into the unknown and find the thing that you're supposed to, and then you come back out. And that whole process of coming back out, like, gives you a different relationship to the space. This audio might be a little too loud. Can I change it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Alright, I'm going to quit here. Yes, I am running this in Wine and in Linux, so it crashes. It loves to crash. Alright, I'm going to turn down the volume, which, even if it turns down the volume for y'all, I think that should still be fine. Alright, let's jump back in there. Okay. Alright, I will not go deaf when I am shooting stormtroopers while talking to you here. So yeah, this is the second mission of the game. The first mission, you're getting like the Death Star plans, and it's in this like Imperial base kind of thing. And yeah, now you're in a city that has been ravaged by stormtroopers, and you're trying to find evidence of like what the heck did it. Yeah, this is an interesting approach to drawing the sky here that, yeah, this is just broken because, like, yeah. I mean, originally, yeah, like, you could look up and down in this game, and it would have the sort of, like, Heretic or Z-Doom style, like, stretching, and this kind of replicates that. I don't want to dwell too much on, like, the tech details here. Oh, who am I kidding? I'm going to nerd out about Dark Forces engine, because it is sort of interesting. But yeah, again, this is a re-implementation, and if I were playing the original DOS version, everything would be a lot more chunky. I don't think game audio is coming through the stream at all. Oh, okay. Okay. I wonder why that happened. Well, I don't know. What do y'all think in the chat? Like, should I continue playing without the without hearing the same Stormtrooper voice clip repeated again and again, or not? Yeah, but like, so even if it is getting kind of drawn in a busted way, I do like this backdrop, and I liked it enough that I ripped this sprite from the game, and I'm using it as my desktop wallpaper right now. Commentary is greater than audio, says David Pittman. Yeah, I mean, right. The sound design in this game is good, but I don't consider it like such an indispensable part of, of the game that I feel like fiddling with OBS or Pulse audio settings. Sorry, I'm still getting over a cold. Yeah, so like, right, so here we're seeing like some, they're doing the old trick from the first Star Wars, the charred corpses of our foster parents, not really our foster parents, but like, people have been killed by stormtroopers, and for some reason, even though we never see them do it in the movies, they're just charred corpses. Like, I don't know if stormtroopers have flamethrowers or what. Actually, they totally do in Force Awakens. Yeah, we see stormtroopers using flamethrowers. So, yeah, they had them the whole time. That's just what they did here. This is sort of an interesting, like, set-piece texture. Like, they were showing, like, that this wall that normally looks like this has been blown open, and they just authored, like, a custom texture with these, like, blast marks, and then combined it with some sector work that makes it all, sort of trashed looking. It's cool. Like, it's a good... I mean, that's an expensive way to, like, communicate a thing, but it looks good. And, yeah, like, I like that, like, blast hole kind of thing in the wall there. Oh, yeah, that's one thing. You can jump in this video game. And also you can crouch. And you can crouch around, and the game makes pretty extensive use of it. Dark Forces, I would say, has probably some of the best jumping of any first-person game of its era, I would say. It also has like some fairly crappy, unforgiving jumping that is not so much fun, but yeah, there are some parts in this game where you have to jump around, and I don't really mind it. Okay, so yeah, we're going over here. There's like a little land bridge sort of thing. And then we get a look at this big city here. There's a whole lot to it. We can go down, and now we're in the dark, so we can activate our little headlight. So you can see in dark areas, but it consumes battery, so you don't want to like lean on it too heavily. This this engine supported like glow-in-the-dark bits like this, although DarkXL is providing the bloom filter, kind of the old school simple bloom sort of look there, but it's cool. And I have texture filtering turned off, obviously, so it's all chunky and pixely, because that's just how I play old style FPSs, I guess. Yeah, so this is the area we were in previously. But yeah, this is interesting right here, because we walk around this and we can see that, this is just like a rectangular area, and we can look on our mini-map here, see that it's this, but then we start doing this, and we're like, wait a minute. We are seeing something that could not have been done in Doom. You can kind of see the switch when I think... Yep, yeah, see? So we're actually just warping to entirely separate levels of the map. So yeah, Dark Forces engine supports the Jedi engine, I believe it was called, supports true floors upon floors. Well, I'm sorry. It doesn't actually support true floors upon floors, but it lets you have multiple layers of floors that you can use, and then you can travel between them, and so long as you can't see into two layers at once, you can just like have, and in fact, there's a level later in the game that has it's like a 6-story prison level, and there's an elevator that goes between all 6 of those floors, and they're all just stacked right on top of one another, and that made them like they really took that through its paces, level design wise. I felt like, and it was pretty cool. Just that feeling of being in like a fairly, it makes the actual structures that you're in a lot more complicated. And yeah, just lets the level designers do cool stuff. So, oh dear, what's going on? I was stuck inside of an enemy. Yeah, this re-implementation is, this is like a beta version of it from like 5 years ago, and it is not as solid as the actual DOS game. And I think I fell down and got stuck inside of an enemy or something, and then I was confused. Yeah, that door that I was at back in that dark area, I could not open because we have not restored the power to this city yet. Yeah, like the power's out. Well, I mean, I guess these little lamp thingies. That's another thing, like destructible environments. This came out like more than a year before Duke Nukem 3D, so people talk about Duke 3D as having like really unprecedented interactivity, and it does have a whole bunch of unique tricks up its sleeve. But yeah, Dark Forces was doing cool stuff. All right, I am out of shielding. Dark Forces fictionalizes your armor, your Doom-style armor, as shielding. Although actually, it's different from Doom-style armor in that it actually, like, your shields eat all of your damage before you start taking health damage. And yeah, I actually really like this level design stuff. Like, it's getting some of the like indoor-outdoor kind of level design goodness of like, later 90s and early 2000s, like World War II building-to-building Stalingrad type, level design stuff. I like that. It's also just telling a story of like, these stormtroopers killed a lot of people. I mean, this is like way more. If this were a BioShock 2 level and I were reviewing it, I'd be like, I think you need to tone down the bodies. Like, we get it. They came through and massacred everybody. But yeah, they're just, continuing with that little environmental theme. Oh yeah, and there's water. You can like swim around here, but it kind of sucks to be down here in this level. So yeah. Yeah, all these doors are locked, so I'm just kind of climbing around. The weapons in this game, I don't really have access to any cool weapons at this point in the game. You've got your fists, you've got your modified Briar pistol, which uses the same ammo as the Stormtrooper blaster rifle here. But it's way more accurate, but also does less damage. So you've got kind of a spray and pray weapon versus a more precision, and you actually end up using this thing for a longer range. It's more accurate over longer range. So yeah, the weapons in this game are pretty cool. There's a good mix of like grenade and trap based sort of things, like with the thermal detonators and the mines. And then there's like, a mix of hit scanning. Although actually, like this is not a hit scan weapon. Like, it takes time, like your projectiles have to travel. And that does end up having an effect on gameplay. Like, it changes the feeling of the game. You're very much not in Doom shotgun master kind of territory. Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, like it's a Star Wars signature weapon kind of, so I think it made sense. Whoa. Yeah, and I like how this part of the level, like, you go into a dark area, you haven't restored the power yet. You're not it's not completely dark in here, but it's dark enough that you're pretty oh, hey, it's a bunch of people in bikes going past my window. Yeah, and they're playing music, because that's a thing that happens in this city sometimes. Yeah, and you can always turn on your frickin' headlight, flashlight thingy. Who is back here? Oh, it's you. So yeah, that's actually kind of a rough fight, like, in the dark and stuff. Who was that? Oh, it's you. Okay, then we jump out of this window. You can see a little bit of the sky sector clipping away the stuff behind it. Yeah, see, the thing's pretty accurate. Yeah, and so it's this creak, and it's like, oh, is this thing like a big rotor or something? And we hit this a button, and that's another Dark Forces tech feature. Is rotating sectors. Like these sectors, these are actually sectors, and they can move, and if you get on them, then you will move with them, and that's pretty cool. And there's more bike people playing music. Yeah, it's just a huge number of people riding bikes. One guy has an electric guitar. I'm not making this up, I swear. One guy has an electric guitar, and while he's riding his bike, that's some talent. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we turned on the power to the city, so now stuff works. And yeah, now the level feels pretty different because the lights are on. And we can, like, any goodies that we might have missed, we can go back and find. I think there are definitely goodies in here. I forget. Is there like a little switch behind the bar here or something? I think that just dispenses space sodas. Let me check the chat here. Yeah, someone in the chat is asking, haven't played Dark Forces 1, how does it balance representational spaces versus abstract gameplay? A lot of this stuff here looks semi-representational, like they could maybe be houses. Yeah, Dark Forces is interesting for that, because, I mean, this, like, because they're trying to sell... This is the only level... Well, no, there's other things that are cities here, although they're significantly more abstract even than this, I would say. Yeah, this is actually kind of... this, I would say, is as representational as Doom gets in a lot of cases, because Doom 2, you know, has a level called Suburbs, which doesn't look anything like a suburb, but, you know, it's like... and, like, tenements and stuff like that. Those levels are more abstract than these. Like, you could actually imagine this being kind of like... you know, a one-bedroom, like bedroom plus living area and kitchen flat, you know, kind of thing. But it's still like kind of, you know, it's destroyed enough that it ends up being more evocative. And then like these other structures here, it's like, who knows what these were, you know, like, so yeah. Yeah, so I think it still fits squarely. I mean, compared to like anything that came... you know, 5-10 years later, I think it's still pretty abstract. Yeah, and like I think it's fairly interesting for that reason. Oh yeah, that just takes us back into here. This is another example of like the multiple layers of sectors here. So this, you know, you could build this scene right here in the Doom engine, but then you go here, and they even do this little awkward thing where a little platform like lifts you up, and then it takes you over the bridge here. So we are kind of like in, you know, we're in this sector above a sector sort of thing. But you'll notice that they can't really show you... Yeah, maybe they can actually, yeah. You can kind of get a look at both. But yeah, like that sort of exposes, so you know, that gives you a little clearer idea of how it works. I think I read somewhere that the Jedi engine was actually a portal renderer a la Duke 3D rather than like a BSP renderer like Doom was, and that makes a lot of sense because like that whole little bit of trickery right here, like that's, you know, when you can just tag line defs as looking into different sectors. You know, you can do this kind of illusion like fairly easily. So yeah. Whoa. There's a sneaky enemy placement. Why can't I get this little shield dealy? I can jump up. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff where they just sort of like almost gratuitously make you jump. And it's fine, you know. I think they push it well and early. I think this entire space that we're in right now is actually just kind of like an optional space. I think the whole point of it is just to give you some extra stuff before you get into the next main section of the level. I thought these things opened up, but I guess not. It's just another Aunt Beru, Uncle Owen. They got the arm up in the air, the claw, like it's just, yeah. I mean, it's grim, you know. Like that in the original Star Wars. That's such a stark, like, genuinely horrifying thing to like see your foster parents like as charred skeletons, like compared to the rest of the movie, you know, which feels just sort of more like, you know, just pulpy. I don't know, yeah. So, all right, and so we hit this little switch, and it makes this little moving sector go back around. And now I think this door is going to pop open. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, talking about storytelling in these games, and yeah, Jedi Knight has like full-on FMV cutscenes, because that game came out in 1997, which was like sort of the peak year for FMV cutscenes. But they were pretty well produced, you know. Like, I mean, they had some of the resources of Lucasfilm at their disposal. You know, and they got, like, you know, professional actors, and you know, they actually made some sets and costumes and models and stuff. I think they actually built the pistol that you have in this game. Yeah, Jedi Knight, I don't know, yeah, I think I streamed Jedi Knight like a year or two ago. And yeah, it's an interesting one too. I think it still kind of falls under abstract level design. It's definitely got some weird, interesting level design, like those cavernous spaces and all that kind of stuff. I think this just loops back around to... Oh, okay, yeah, that's sort of the main canal. Yep, water gives you, like, velocity, so you flow with water, a la Heretic and Hexen, I believe. And yeah, we could actually, like, come into... There's no real advantage to doing so. I mean, yeah, you kind of take them by surprise here, but you can swim up this... you can swim up this creek here and come out and sort of flank these other enemies here. It's not like a massive... It's not like this tactical space masterstroke, but you know, it's a cool thing. They do a bunch of little things in this game that help you feel sneaky, even though you're absolutely never being sneaky. You know, you go through ducts and stuff like that, which again, you know, I mean, like the ducts. Sorry, I want to take care of these bozos. Yeah, like just the fact that they added crouching means that the grammar, compared to Doom, which they're otherwise pretty analogous to, has you know, like it gave them a different sort of level design language, because when you have to crouch, you go into like these vents and all these kinds of tight spaces that that Doom could never really make you go through. It also just helps sell, you know, like if this really is supposed to be an Imperial base, having more utilitarian things like air ducts and stuff sort of helps. Let's see. Oh yeah, okay. Sean Barrett says, I forgot how this game had the really overt wall zigzag things between areas to prevent you from seeing too far and slowing down the renderer. Yeah, Doom absolutely did not. I mean, yeah, definitely. Like this thing is absolutely. This is such a classic. Like I walk through a door and then there's a big wall, but there's like an O shape. I mean, this is just a classic level design occluder shape. People have used this in so many different game engines and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm kind of guessing that. Yeah, like I don't know if it was like inherent to the Portal rendering sort of trade-offs that Dark Forces was making in order to have multiple layers of floors, or if it was just because they didn't have like the hyper-optimized Carmack whiz-bang sort of super speedy render that used BSP. Maybe it was some of both. I mean, I'm not denigrating the programming skill of the people who made this game, because it is like legit impressive for a 1995 FPS. But yeah, like this game definitely manages on-screen detail a lot more. I feel like this like Doom probably would have just let you, like you would have just walked through this door and then seen straight into this area, and that wouldn't have given DOS Doom like a viz plane overflow sort of, one of those detail limit hit errors. But yeah. Yeah, I am curious about that. I actually went fishing around, and maybe at the end of this stream, I'll do some. I'll open up one of these levels in Slade, because yeah, I was interested in finding out more about how this, like, hey, cool, like Doom plus, layers. I mean, that's pretty cool. How did they do that? And just is there anything that would be more applicable to a modern sector-based engine, which is something I think about off and on. Yeah. Yeah, alright, so let's let's continue on. And this is a big old room full of lots of enemies. Yeah. This is again, if this were a level review and I was a level designer sort of person, this is sort of a rough tactic. Like, you walk in here, and there's a whole bunch of enemies kind of arrayed around you, and you just don't really have, like, I found the one bit of cover here, but it doesn't feel very great to seek that out. I don't know, like, this is the kind of game where who's doing that? Okay. But, yeah, I don't know, something that makes this room a little bit more, I don't know, like a pillar in the middle of the room or something. Because, yeah, I was basically just kind of being shot by all those dudes, and I was just sort of mowing them down one by one, which is not a great level design situation. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's a little secret that I had completely forgotten about. It's just a little health cache. It is unfortunate that these charred Aunt Beru's and Uncles Owen did not manage to reach their health cache. Truly. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, yeah, like, the flavor has kind of gone out of the pathos chewing gum when you've seen your 50th charred skeleton, but, it's the deco object they had. They're working it. So I think we're again going to, are we going to do a little floor upon floor thing? No, this is just actually, I think this is so the game could also, like the ship that we saw at the beginning, was like a full 3D mesh that was just like flying around, that was obviously not made out of sectors. They're doing kind of a similar thing here, and I think, yeah, the fact that this doesn't show up on the auto map suggests that this is just, I think their model format was 3DO. It was like an ASCII-based 3D textured mesh format, and the engine could actually render them. You just had to keep them very, very, very simple. And yeah, they could actually have collision. I don't know how that worked exactly, but yeah, they use it for little things like this bridge. Which is very simple, and there are ways to do this in the Doom engine, but this seems like it was kind of more... I don't know how easy it was to use as a level designer, but, it's cool. Stop Rebel Scum. Yeah, if y'all can't hear, just imagine stormtroopers saying, "There he is, get him, stop Rebel Scum, you're not authorized to be in this area," and maybe one other thing, like just over and over again. That's what they do. Cool, yeah, that's a really big weapon. Yeah, I picked it up. I found something that could help us out, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and now we've gotten what we came here for, and we've got to go find out what the heck this giant weapon is. And then, yeah, we've got to get back out of the level. That's a cool texture. Yeah, that's another thing about Dark Forces, is that the texturing sets are relatively unique for each level. Like, a lot of these textures are not really used in any other level in the game. They definitely did like a base Imperial level set that just kind of looks like the inside of the Death Star, and they use that for multiple levels. Yeah, for obvious reasons. Like that's a good reusable thing. Also, every level has its own unique color palette. So when you go to the Gromos mines, which I think is like the 2 levels after this, they use like this reddish shift palette to give it like a completely different like Martian atmosphere. And they can use some of the same textures. Like basically they're taking like all of the same textures and then just like palette shifting them. But it's really cool. I think that was a really smart thing for them to have added to the engine, because it can change the atmosphere so much. Like when I did my Doom 2 Arcadia demake, because it was underwater, I wanted to give everything like this bluish tinge, and yeah, like I went into Deluxe Paint and monkeyed around with the built-in Doom palette and just sort of shifted it towards being more bluish, and that was cool. I like being able to do that. And I don't think you can actually have a different palette for each level in Doom. I think you can only have one palette per WAD, although probably maybe ZDoom like lets you work around that or something. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're basically at the end of this mission. Also, this game has a run key, but you just blow through environments so quickly. Yeah, there is the most complex 3D model in the game. It's our ship, the Moldy Crow. I don't know why it's called. That's just a George Lucas name, I guess. Moldy Crow. But yeah, it's great. All right. So we go next mission, and I believe this crashes wine. Yes, it does. Yeah. But we can jump back in, and it's mission-based, so we can just jump to the next mission. Let me catch up on the chat here. Yeah, Sean Barrett says, I made a portal-based Doom engine, and I don't think there's anything inherent about to that tech, but it might just be the increased detail. Yeah, that's my understanding as well. Like, yeah, portal rendered sectors aren't like inherently slower or anything. I think they were just trying to like manage performance on like 486s and Pentiums or something. Like they just, and it probably wasn't as tightly optimized in a few places or something. Yeah, David Pittman says, I want to make a Doom-era stealth game so bad. I had this exact thought the other day when I initially had this itch to play some Dark Forces levels. And I was thinking, like, yeah, you totally could do one. And I did think of you, David, sort of thinking about, like, the stealth that you do in Eldritch and especially Neon Struct. Yeah, no, I don't know. Next time we get together, let's talk about that, because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like most of the things that you need, like, at a tech level to have stealth game mechanics are possible within a Doom-style engine. Yeah, I don't know. Like, that would be cool. Yeah. Just catching up on the chat here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Pittman saying, I just remembered the executive producer on my first shipped game was the lead programmer on this. He had some good stories. Yeah, yeah, like, this team, I think this team went on to make... No, this team rolled directly off of this onto Jedi Knight 1. And meanwhile, there was another team that started working on Outlaws, which was the cowboy FPS that LucasArts did, that used an upgraded version of the same engine. And then that team, once Jedi Knight shipped, moved on to Jedi Knight the Mysteries of the Sith expansion. And then, I don't know, yeah. But yeah, there were kind of those two non-adventure game teams at LucasArts doing that kind of stuff. And there was obviously crossover between, and like... Yeah. All right. So I want to get a vote from the chat. Are there any levels particularly that you want to see me play from this? I like the robotics facility, like, which is like it's a factory, but you go through like kind of an ice planet to get there. Nar Shaddaa is like memorable, but I didn't find it particularly fun level design wise. I actually liked Imperial City, even though like visually I'm remembering that it's very bland. And then the last level, the Arc Hammer, is like difficult and has a whole bunch of like fairly intricate sections. I don't know, like there's no wrong answers here, but yeah. Yeah, and actually, I like the research facility level as well. Just because like it's got some verticality and getting into and out of the base feels cool. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that actually. Although it has turrets. Oh yeah, Pear is asking, was there some high up Vertigo stuff in that, or was that Jedi Knight? Yeah, there totally is some. Yeah, let me jump into the research facility mission here, because there totally is some high up Vertigo stuff. And here it is. We're looking at some of it right now. Like, yeah, so that's a bug. I think the Moldy Crow is just playing the same animation over and over. But yeah, so like, this was the first time in an FPS game that I had died of fall damage. So you just jump off. Oh, and y'all can't hear, unfortunately, but yeah, like the falling to your death sound that plays in this video game when you fall a great distance is totally is a stock sound effect that I mentally refer to as the '90s scream. But you've almost certainly heard it in like dozens of advertisements and stuff, and it's like this really visceral, terrible, terrifying scream where the guy goes like, yeah. It's like really, and I had never encountered it before. So the first time that I fell off of this cliff in this video game back in 1995, I was like, oh God, I never want to do that again. That's terrible. So yeah, 90s Dark Forces was my introduction to the 90s scream. And next time you see somebody, I don't know, skydiving or getting axe murdered or something in a commercial or something, it's the 90s scream. Yeah, so yeah. Pretty vertigo-inducing parts of this level. So yeah, we start outside, and we're just like in these cliffs and stuff, but we know that there's like an Imperial base here, and that's pretty cool. There's like these very narrow cliffs, and we can look down and see just how far we have to fall. This, I believe, is one of those run and jump situations. Yeah, okay, we can do that. And then I think this is like a little elevator up to some treats. I think this is an entirely optional you made a tough jump, so we're going to shower you in goodies situation. Oh yeah, thermal detonators. Little grenades. These are what Princess Leia has in Return of the Jedi when she's like in disguise. And C-3PO is like, because he's got a thermal detonator, oh no! But yeah, it's like a little ball, and it blows up. Wait a minute, what's going on down here? Why? Oh, okay, alright. Ow. Yeah, I took a little bit of fall damage coming down from there, which is not too surprising. That's a bridge. It goes somewhere. Yeah. Can I jump up? Oh, I can't jump up here. There he is. Stop him. Is this just going up to the same? No, this is different. Okay, cool. This is a different place. A cleverly concealed secret door in the rock. Go across a narrow little bridge. Just gonna catch up on the chat. No, it is not the 90s scream is not the Wilhelm scream. The Wilhelm scream is very comical by comparison, because it's from like that 50s cowboy movie. All right, cool. Yeah, we've got a link to the scream. Yeah, it is a blood-curdling scream. That is an accurate description. Um, my, like, 15 or whatever year old blood was curdled when I heard it. It was rough times. Alright, I think... Oh. Oh yeah, cool. This is like... These guys are all set up like total bowling pins. Yep. See that I killed all 7 of those baddies with a single thermal detonator. They're not actually that powerful, but, that was a gimme. Alright, so yeah, they let you poke around like the actual extents of the base a whole lot here, really. Yeah, and I guess I could drop down. So this is like a whole alternate way into the base. I think rather than go through this way, because I think I can jump off here and not die from fall damage. But, oh, this guy. There we go. Yeah, I could drop down and then I would kind of be coming in the back way, but I think I'd rather just do it sort of on the intended path here for whatever that is worth. Am I going the wrong way? I just went in a circle. Cool. Alright, so we get back here. Oh, that's right. Yeah, and they make you make these jumps. Like, that jump is definitely a death jump, but it is on the critical path, so they really want you to be afraid. And then we're encountering, like, this is the first, like, sort of, thing that's starting to feel like architecture. Yeah, it's another little sort of sector trick they've got going there. Like, I can see above that and then below that, And then, yeah, we drop down here. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I don't think I can get back up. I think I'm actually locked into this little duct crawl here. So, yeah, now we're in some ducts. We really feel like a super spy now. Oh, and it's a little mouse bot. It's an adorable scutterer. And, yeah, and I don't think we can actually kill it, but it has 1 battery in it for your headlight. Oh dear. Yeah, I really hate those turrets. They are nasty. They will deal a lot of damage to you. Okay, crawling around here. Really just creeping around. This is like... That's like a prone position. Alright, and now we're inside the base. Stop rebel scum. Oh dear. Ah, that doesn't work. The sound that those turrets play isn't playing. Well, I guess y'all can't hear audio anyway, but... excellent. Okay, yeah, somebody has found a link to... has found a link to the 90s Scream. Yeah. Yeah, the TIE Fighter sound is... Yeah, it does have some elephant in it. There's a whole bunch of, lore about what all the different iconic Star Wars sounds were sourced from. And yeah, this game just takes a whole bunch of sound design from Star Wars, and as it has every right to, of course. Yeah, this turret... Ah! These turrets are just real rough. We've gotten some ammo for a type of weapon that I don't believe we have yet. Oh yeah, Cheese says we can punch the mouse bots. Yeah, I think just in DarkXL here, we can't collide with them. I don't think they wanted to deal with like the hit detection against a tiny little thing that can be down around the player's feet. But yeah, in the actual DOS video game, you can certainly punch them or whatever. All right. I feel like I might have passed up an area. No, maybe not. Little stormtrooper closet there. That is not a closet. Yeah, so this is actually like a code entry thing. I'm not quite ready to do this yet, though, just because I think there's more to this base. Yeah, this actually kind of ends up being the way out, so... Yeah, so maybe I'll head back and just... Yeah, maybe I'll head back and just do the thing I'm intended to do. I forget where you find it, but yeah, there is totally a code. I think that's something that's just not in DarkXL. Yeah. Yeah, like there's these cards that you get that once they're in your inventory, you can actually just read the code off of them, and it's 3 different symbols that are, you know, some sort of alphanumeric substitution. And yeah, let's see if I remember this from however many years ago. Yeah, yep. These stormtroopers are constantly calling me rebel scum. This is sort of an interesting. It definitely happened at a lower rate, but this like sweeping light changing effect sort of thing that they've got going on here is interesting. So yeah, it's building up to like a big thing here, like it's like this radial, this big curving staircase thingy. I'm actually getting a little bit low on shielding. Yeah, this game, because everybody's using the same weapons you are, and the bullets move, like, if they're not hit scan, but they move, like, so fast as to effectively be that, you do, like, this game is sort of more like a modern FPS in terms of the player is just sort of expected to just soak up damage. I mean, that's the whole thing with the shielding, you know, is, yeah, you know, like, it's more about attrition than avoidance. I mean, certainly, like, you can... I mean, when I'm running, I'm moving at about Doom guy running speeds. But yeah, like, you're just... The nature... Like, the way that the enemies are designed, avoiding attacks entirely is a lot less possible. So, you just kind of soak it up, which explains the very liberal, you know, scattering of shield pickups here. So that is kind of a key difference. I mean, for that reason, like, that's kind of why I don't go back to this game as much as Doom. Like, it's more purely a nostalgia thing. I mean, I think a lot of these level design things are interesting, but yeah. Also, I'm just doing this puzzle just from memory, just like just without explaining it or anything, but yeah, like that, we're trying to get that MacGuffin-y deal in the center, and there's these different switches that we have to hit, and we've got a moving sector that we can control both the rotation and the height of, and so we've got to like steer that thing around to, you know, the different positions so that we can go out. Yeah, see? And we hit that, and we've opened up another little barrier. So yeah, it's just, I don't know if I'd even call it a puzzle necessarily, but you just kind of have to tick off all the little ticky boxes. Alright, now we want to raise this thing up. That goes all the way up, so we take it down once more. And also the way that like that enemy is positioned, like he's really just in your blind spot right when you walk in. So you're going to take that damage. You know, they're not really giving you an opportunity to evade it, which yeah is definitely a bummer. There's some chat that I want to catch up on here. Does Dark Forces use the Star Wars soundtrack? Yeah, I mean, it certainly uses like the Star Wars, a lot of the basic Star Wars themes. However, it's played as, I mean, it's actually a lot like X-Wing and TIE Fighter, which use the iconic, like, you know, John Williams themes, but they extend them at very great length and kind of like freestyle a whole, you know, language around them. Dark Forces actually used the same iMuse engine that LucasArts used in all of their Monkey Island 2 onward adventure games. So this thing actually has, yeah, you can't hear it, and I don't think it even plays in DarkXL. But yeah, it's like, you know, semi-interactive in that, like, when you're not fighting, it goes to like a few different more chilled out music tracks, and then when you get into a fight, it plays like, you know, some tension combat sort of music. So yeah, like iMuse was, yeah, it totally used iMuse, and it was cool. I don't think it wasn't really as involved as I would say as the X-Wing and TIE Fighter soundtracks, which like you made very involved use of it, like when in those games, like in X-Wing, when an Imperial ship shows up, it plays like it like throws the Imperial March into the mix. Like you see a big Star Destroyer coming in, and it goes dun 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 dun. And just all these little things that would like react as you were flying this combat mission. It was amazing. Like, and I went back and like listened to some of the TIE Fighter music recently, and I think like yeah posted about it on Twitter. But yeah, like those games had truly amazing interactive soundtracks. Yeah. So all right, this is the MacGuffin. I found some interesting looking metal. Oh, we're in the damage juice. Which is also the same as the garbage juice that you later see the Death Star trash compactor monsters in. And it's yucky, and you don't want to be in it, because it does damage per second to you. Okay, so this was the path that I turned off before because I sensed that it was the way out. And I didn't want to hit this just yet. This is a completely optional, just extra little room. It doesn't have any pickups in it. It has 2 stormtroopers waiting in it. And like, I don't know, it almost feels like a test room. It's like testing out different heights and like floor and ceiling geo. I don't know. Maybe they had plans for this level once, or maybe it was always just like a little side room. Cool, so this is a way up to another level. I think this connects with that stairwell that we passed earlier. Oh no, that's right, yeah. This is like a completely different... Cool. Oh yeah, it's the repeater gun. This is definitely a good weapon. Up. Wow, I'm really low on health. And totally out of shielding. Alright. We're going through what feels like another layer change. Yep, you can see it. It's like, oh yeah, we're kind of teleporting in the map. Yeah, Dark Forces, like, partly because of, like, the environment, but partly because of the infiltrate-exfiltrate, like, level structure, and partly because you could jump and crouch, and it had more of a fiction. Dark Forces was the first game, like, I don't think I ever tried to speedrun Doom for the first year or two that I was playing it, Whereas Dark Forces, I did actually try to speedrun it. I think I just like got into the idea of that was it. I so like again, mid 90s, I watched the Aeon Flux shorts on Liquid Television, which is just kind of nonstop action, and it's like Aeon Flux and various other people like her like flipping around and being these like stylized FPS action hero type people. And yeah, like I tried to speedrun Dark Forces levels, like just jumping and crouching, and like there's a few places where you can like get through a window if you jump and crouch, and just like basically like taking this super optimized and just I don't know, like I mean yeah, it was sort of a speedrunning aesthetic, I guess. I'd completely forgotten about that, but yeah, I totally would have been watching Aeon Flux on TV and playing Dark Forces and getting into it. Yeah. High school. Whoa. What did we get there? Ow. I appear to be at 0 health. Okay. Weird. I was at 0, but I didn't die. Now I'm dead, though. Alright, so we opened up some doors there. That's good to do. That jerk that killed me is still out there. And there's an elevator-y kind of thing. There's totally a secret around here. And I believe it involves... yeah, there we go. Ah, yes, that's right. I think that thing is normally moving. It's like moving up and down, so it's kind of hard to hit. Anyway, I can go here, and then that opened up this door. And now I'm in like a secret area with some goodies. And I think this will take me up. Whoops. This is like a usability thing that I noticed recently, like from Duke Nukem Forever, but Dark Forces does it as well. When you're standing on a lift and it's in its resting position, if you hit the use key anywhere on that lift, it activates the lift again, which I think is actually like totally superior to how Doom does it. Doom, like the lifts are just always on timers, but I like the way that Dark Forces and Duke do it. I think that is an improvement. Alright, so we're making our way out. I thought it'd be cool there and use a thermal detonator on those turrets, but I don't know. Yeah, a lot of these textures are very clearly like sort of inspired by, like they were looking at like the Death Star interior shots from the first Star Wars. Just like this motif of like, I don't know, there's a few other ones later in the game, like that sort of, I mean, it's all very brutalist and like, dreary palette and stuff, but like there's underlighting and stuff. It's just like that specific sort of future totalitarian imperial theme sort of thing that that I actually think they get really well in this game. All right. That's a classic level design playbook thing there. There's a switch and then a window facing into the door that you're opening with that switch. It's cool. I know what I just did. Yeah, and so now, as you can see from the neatly arranged pile of bodies, we are back. I was standing up here, and now I'm down here. And I forget how to get into this whole like bridge structure type thingy. But I think... ow. That's not the way to do it. Yeah, how would I... okay, yeah, so I can... alright, so I'm here. Oh yeah, I can go up here, but I don't think that does me any good, right? Oh, I think I can cut across. Does this help me, though? Oh, also that... like that thing is. I might have missed my. Did I miss my chance to go down this thing? Maybe I did. Yeah. Well, that's just clearly like a weird little box room. No, yeah, there is a way into it from here. Does this game have the iconic New Hope iris door? We had it in System Shock 1, just an animating texture. So the very first level of this game. Okay, there we go. All right. I don't know if that was the intended way to do that, but now I'm here. They actually made it out of they made a door that is kind of an irising door out of sectors, actually. Which is interesting. But yeah, they do not use a texture-based irising door. I don't think that's anywhere in here. But yeah, they clearly understood on some intuitive level that irising doors are cool, and made efforts to put it. The first level is definitely kind of front-loaded with a bunch of, you know, the cooler stuff in the game. I mean, like, it's a good level, and also, like, it has a ton of secrets, and just sort of, like, dunks your head in straight in Star Wars stormtrooper shooting. So, you know, it's a good first level in that regard. Yeah, alright, so yeah, we made it back out, and yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, this game is lives based. Like, that one time I died, I just respawned at a checkpoint. There's no quick load and quick save. You just accrue lives, and those little floating rebellion symbols are the lives. So yeah, that's a interesting thing that this game does instead of having to save and load. All right, well, I am going to end this mission here. Yeah, and I'm trying to decide if I want to. I'm trying to decide if I want to play another mission, or yeah, like, there's something that I was kind of wondering about here. I opened up one of the Dark Gob. So Doom has WAD files, and the Jedi engine uses GOB files. WAD, GOB, clearly inspired. The former clearly inspired the latter. These are the different palettes for the different levels. Slade, by the way, can read Dark Force's, you know, files. Let's see here. Yeah, where's the level file? Yeah. Yeah, so that first level that I played, this is like their level format, as best as I can tell, is actually ASCII based, which would explain the longer than Doom loading times. And yeah, so this is like actually a pretty good window into like how, at least how their levels were authored. First of all, this file has been converted from AutoCAD file Tele. So they were using AutoCAD as their level editor, which is interesting. I don't think I knew that back in the day. And then it's like, okay, this is the level that corresponds with the mission thing. This is the palette file it uses. This is like the general MIDI thing. And then, yeah, like declare all of your textures. All those things have different indices. And then, yeah, there's just a big ASCII listing of all the different sectors. You can see that it's got the layer number here. So these things are on layer 1. There's layer 0 and 2 and whatever. There's something called a second altitude, which I don't know. In addition to the floor and ceiling, you know, these are fairly like familiar Doom and Doom style engine constructs. Everything has verts. Walls are, you know, connections between verts, and then sectors have their own kind of inherent properties. So, yeah, I don't know. I just found this interesting, like looking through this data format, because you can really tell, like, at least something about their authoring. Like, they were clearly using like AutoCAD primitive shapes to author their levels, and then they would just import them into this format that was probably pretty easy. Like, it was probably pretty easy to write the AutoCAD exporter for this format. And then, yeah, the engine imports it and just turns it into that Portal Soup or whatever it's doing. Anyway, yeah, like, yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of other... These formats, I think, are relatively well documented. Yeah, this is like their 3D mesh format. It's like, here's verts, here's texture coordinates, I guess. Just, yeah, all kinds of stuff. And so much of it is plain text, which would actually put it a little bit, because Doom, it was all about these, like, efficiently packed binary lumps within the WAD files. But yeah, like, this is all pretty human readable, and I don't know if designers were authoring this stuff in the level editor or what, but it's pretty interesting to... Yeah, then I guess, like, oh yeah, test base. Is that a level file, or... No, I think that was the level that we just played. Anyway, yeah, here's some cute comments from developers from 1994 in the, I think this is the music definition file. This is probably specifying like the different iMuse tracks, and then like the code would trigger these iMuse transitions. So, yeah. It's all cool. Let's see what's in the chat. It looked like they have the ability to have two textures on each wall, one above the other, so that might be second altitude. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. That's a good guess. And yeah, like obviously, like any kind of Doom style engine, you're going to have like the upper and lower texture sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Should I play another mission? Let's see. It's 10:50. How long have I been going here? I don't know. Do I feel like playing? I'm gonna have a look at the level list here. Yeah, I'm going to do the robotics facility. I don't know why I liked this level in particular as much as I did back in the day. But, Alright, so yeah, we're on a nice planet. Oh yeah, there's an Easter egg in here that I absolutely have to show you. So you go into here and you're like, oh, there's a little crawl space. Cool. Oh, and there's an extra life. That's nice. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, I'm floating in the middle of space. There is a cheat code that shipped with the original game. Instead of like IDDQD and stuff, you would do for id blah blah blah. You would do LA for LucasArts, and then whatever LACDS, and then you see none other than Max of Sam and Max fame when you reveal the entire map thing. So. And I actually found this. I forget how. I must have just like seen the cheat codes in a magazine somewhere, and then I tried it and just flipped a pancake when I saw Max in this Dark Forces level. I was real happy about that. This would have come out like the year after Sam and Max hit the road. I'm sorry, Sam and Max. Sam and Max hit the road came out. Yeah. All right, so we're in a nice planet. It's a nice world. And in addition to the icy wilderness around here, we can see that we are clearly on the outside of a base. Who's shooting? Are you? What a jerk. Alright. I'm not going to pay attention to you. This is something that this game's level design does a fair amount, is that you're moving around the fairly massive outside of a structure. And it is actually like the same structure that you go inside. Like this isn't just fakery. Like it is just, they made a single really big level. And yeah, let's see. Can I run across this? Oh, that's right. There's ice cleats. So that's cool. So I have a little more traction on my otherwise slippery Mega Man ice level ice patch here. And yeah, we're going like all around the outside, and we're just like seeing inside this facility, and we're like, man, this level just goes on and on for days. Yep, there's even more jerks. Aw, come on, I'm just trying to kill these guys. Help me out here. There we go. Oi. Okay, I can jump down here. Does that help me? No. There is another place where you can be like, where you can be kind of crawling around in this. Oh, of course, there's a waterfall. So I can go of course I can go behind it and get some treats. I love that. And then we actually go up here. I forget if this is part of the critical path or not. Some icy cold water. Yeah, so like I'm pretty sure, I can't say for sure, but yeah, like I'm pretty sure this is using a custom palette that has a lot more like icy blues and stuff in it. So again, they were able to have a game that like has a much wider color range than Doom. Not that Doom isn't like fairly eclectic in that regard, but yeah, I just really like that they did that. Let's see here. Okay, yes, right. And I found the red key, so... Oh my goodness. Alright, well, we had to lay some waste there. Some crates. As I recall, this game's start to crate is quite high. I don't think there's any crates in the first level. But yeah. See, I think we kind of... I think this was the way that we were meant to get in here and do this. But, yeah. So now we're on this cool conveyor belt. Yeah, like they're, again, using their heretic-style flowing water sectors give you a velocity tech. And we have, you know, conveyor belts of various speed and direction. Man, I hate those turrets. How do I get in here? Oh, cool. Okay, I can just scramble through the window. So yeah, like a jumping but crouched player is pretty narrow and can squeeze through there, so... But I like that. Just another thing that helps you feel a little bit less like a fridge with a gun attached to it. Alright, so yeah, we were down here earlier. Says who? Can I go down here? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so we're downstream of the waterfall here. And yeah, I forget what the point of creeping around here is. We're just kind of shadowing the conveyor belt that we were on. Okay, yeah, there's a little goodie cache here. Let's see. Okay. Just want to get back out at this point. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to go back. Take the long way back. Come on. Ugh. Wow, that was awkward. You're killing me, video game. Alright, let's get back on track here. Sean Barrett has an interesting comment. Doom's eclecticism is kind of forced, e.g. pink demons that turn gray under reduced lighting because the palette has no darker pixels. Hopefully in the real engine you don't bob in the conveyor belt. Yes, I believe that is something that's unique to DarkXL. Man, these like old FPS, old video game reimplementations are just rough because like, you know, you end up spending so much time like just reimplementing a gameplay feature like that. You know, I mean. Ow. Not that that specifically is difficult in the slightest, but there's just all these little nuances that the original game's programmers put in that you kind of like have to pay attention to and recreate if you want to actually be authentic. And yeah, like, I don't know, a lot of these... oh, crap. Oh man, I felt... Here I was gabbing, and now... I apologize. Yeah, if you go to xlengine.com, yeah, he's turned it into this gigantic multi-engine sort of project. Oh my gosh. Ugh, wow, that is just so painful and awkward. Alright, I promise I won't fall off that conveyor belt again. Yeah, like, it supports Daggerfall and Dark Forces, and it's got like its own UI and scripting language and just all kinds of stuff. And I guess it's sort of decompilation focused. Like, he decompiles the games and then sort of like figures out how to do a not just a non-horrible, you know. I really don't like them as a level design. Like, having turrets is fine, but the fact that they're like sort of anchored to the ceiling and the hit detection is a little ambiguous, and they dish out a lot of damage and have a fairly high amount of hit points, like, I don't know. We're in the area with the gross goo that does damage if you get in it. I don't know why that texture is scrolling. It's, you know, it's a factory. Sometimes textures just scroll. Alright, I'm going to make this jump. Nope. Oh, I did. Oh, God. Alright, I'm avoiding getting crushed. God, those turrets are really not... I really don't like them as a level design. Like, having turrets is fine, but the fact that they're like sort of anchored to the ceiling and the hit detection is a little ambiguous, and they dish out a lot of damage and have a fairly high amount of hit points, like, I don't know. I don't know. Oh no, is the shield supercharge not implemented? Oh well. Cool, I can get in here. Oh, cool, yeah. It's one of their, it's just like a humanoid mesh point cloud sort of thing. I was like, hey, this must have been like an early debug sort of rendering style or something for their 3DO like model rendering code. Because yeah, like in the first level, there's like a Death Star plan like rotating in like point-based 3D, and it looks cool because it is identifiably the Death Star. But yeah, they were doing 3D Studio stuff. I mean, of course, that's what all the cutscenes were done in. Probably 3D Studio Release 4 for DOS, like you do. How do I get in here? Oh, cool, okay, alright. I got a key. I got weapons. Oh yeah, there's this weapon which I never use. The fusion cutter. See, I don't, like... Ah, God, why did I do that? Just didn't know my own jump strength. Yeah, this weapon, like, it's not terrible, but the projectiles are kind of slow, and it feels, I don't know, like, it really seems like it has a much lower just DPS, or damage per second, than the other weapons. Like, you know, I could mow down a stormtrooper, like, really quickly with the standard thing, but then, Yeah, it just feels like it takes much longer with this. And then this thing, which just dishes it out. Anyway, that's why I never use the... Oh man, let me see if I can remember the name of it. The Geron Fusion Cutter, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, now like this is like a spinning fan thing, and it allows us to drop into an area where we are suffocating. And yeah, we would have suffocated if I hadn't grabbed that gas mask and put it on. But now that we have, I'm good. Oh right, yeah. The whole point of this mission is to be, we're like blowing up this factory, so we're placing charges here. And yeah, there's more locations where we've got to do this. This is just a big ol' spinny thing. Yeah, they're mixing the cookie dough here. This is the Empire's cookie factory. If this factory is allowed to go into full production, then the Rebel Alliance will be hopelessly behind in the cookie wars. Oh god. So, yeah, you can't hear it, but that was the aggro sound for a Stage 1 Dark Trooper. I think it was a bug that it triggered. Because what we are actually about to fight here is... What the heck was that? Okay, well, oh god. Okay, so now we're fighting a Stage 2 Dark Trooper. And these guys are annoying. They can fly. They shoot fairly fast-moving, incredibly large bullets. But yeah, actually, we just totally owned them. So, nya. But yeah, one of them jumps out at you the first time when you put down the last charge. Hold on here. Where is... There's supposed to be a way out here. Ah, here we go. And there is a Stage 1 Dark Trooper in these ducts. This terrified me when I was first playing this. It's a little easier to take out with, you know, when you've got your full arsenal and a couple decades more of FPS experience. But, yeah, like you're in these dark vents, and there's this Terminator endoskeleton coming after you, and yeah, and it's making this super creepy like clackety clack noise as it runs through the ducts. So this set piece like is this fairly intense set piece that it finishes on. I feel like really elevates it to one of the better levels in the game. Just the whole let's see, I'm trying to find my way out here. Ugh, I'm bad at it. Okay, here we go. This is the way out. Yeah, like I think, you know, I would play through this game like several times, you know, and I think I just like this level in terms of just like the whole sense of like spatial progression. Like you're outside and you're trying to figure out a way into this fortress. And then you get inside, and there's like multiple stages to that, and you go from like avoiding hazards to taking out enemies, and then you've got to deal with these much tougher enemies, and I don't know, yeah, it just has like a nice sense of pacing and stuff. And then yeah, like there's no surprises on the get back out stage, but yeah, I liked this level back in the day. And yeah, like it's playing the fairly annoying whatchamacallit Dark Trooper running noise, so that's annoying. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got the energy for tonight. But yeah, this has been me playing through some levels from Dark Forces. I feel like as a 90s Doom style FPS, it holds up pretty well. Like it does some fairly unique stuff. Like, I'm sure that they were setting off to make a Doom-style game, but I don't know. I think this dev team was pretty talented and did some interesting technical and design things. It's definitely not like a wild and weird mid-90s, like 90s FPS, the way that some other things are. And it doesn't quite have like these sort of, balanced design paragon sort of thing that Doom does, but it's still pretty cool. And yeah, like playing these old levels again, yeah, they do some interesting stuff. I like, they made a significant enhancement on top of Doom in using the different floors thing, and I think that the level designs all use that pretty well. And yeah, like the spaces, again, like I find myself returning to Thief 1 and 2, especially just because, it's mission based and there is more of a story, but the levels are still these fairly big, just sprawling kind of things that you can sort of get lost in a bit. And you have to get back out of them, so you get that much more of an appreciation for their scale and intricacy. They're not quite as big in my like now that I play them again as they were in my memory, but that's pretty that's pretty inevitable. So yeah, I think this game has some interesting level design stuff, and I don't know, yeah, I enjoy going back to it. It is more of a nostalgia thing than Doom is. Positive qualities aside, but yeah, I think that's about all I've got. Let me check the chat one last time here. But yeah, you can download DarkXL from like xlengine.com. Still has the downloads of DarkXL and DaggerXL. I guess Lucius, the author of them, is back on track and is working on it again, but I have no idea how long it will be before a new version of DarkXL that you can play, and like before you will be able to play Dark Forces with missing some of the bugs that are present in this 5 years ago version. But yeah, definitely check out xlengine.com if you're interested in that kind of weird project. There's not really much else like it, just because it is like so ambitious. But yeah, I think that's about all I've got. Yeah, I'm pretty tuckered out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, everybody. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Yeah, cool. Have a good night.